Welcome to the Canadian Investors course, Session 4, Finding Equities Commentary. So this is the addendum that we discussed in Session 4, more information on finding equities. Terms of use and disclaimers is on page 2, and we recommend that you read it. Now, look at earnings season. We got Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan on one side, and he's putting all his chips on the table, and he's bluffing. What a surprise. So let's look at technical versus fundamental analysis. As I mentioned at the end of the last session, both groups disagree with each other's methods. FLC suggests that both disciplines or methods be used in conjunction with each other. As an investor, you should be skeptical and use history to backtest whatever method is proposed to you. So let's try doing this. Let's backtest the use of moving average crosses to buy and sell investments. And we'll use the following charts to provide that historical data. So using monthly time frame charts, which give fewer but more accurate signals, we believe that this is a very important tool for rules-based investing approach that will be discussed in a later lesson. The next slides go back to 1929 and assume that an investor buys at the top of the market in 29. A buy and hold investor would have lost a major portion of their wealth. But this rules-based approach, based on a set of rules, gives you a profit in every decade. These charts use 6 and 13-month moving averages, which seem to do a good job of giving the turn indications. The results will amaze you. We'll calculate the compounded rate of return for each decade, assuming that we start with $100,000 at the beginning of each decade. We report what buy and hold investor would have made. We report what an investor would have earned using crosses to either cash in or invest in the index. So we're just index investing here, but we're doing it with technical analysis. So note that rules-based technical analysis can be applied to indices, individual stocks, bonds, ETFs, and even commodities, any security where you can track it on a chart. So let's start with the Dow from 1929 to 1939. There was plenty of opportunity to buy and sell based on the moving average crosses. So opening balance, $100,000. Buy and hold, the same for rules-based investing and buy and hold. The closing balance for rules-based investing was $228,000. The closing balance for buy and hold was $39,000. For a 61% loss versus a 128% profit for rules-based investing. Annual rate of return was 8.32 versus minus 8.62. Moving on. 39 to 45. Again, plenty of room to buy and sell. Volatile market. Starting with the $228,000 that we won in the first decade for rules-based investing, $39,000 for the buy and hold camp. The closing balance was $444,000 for the rules-based investing. It was $52,000, a nice profit over $39,000, 33% profit for the buy and hold guys, but the change for the rules-based investing camp was 94.75%, or a 6.89% annual rate of return versus a 2.9 annual rate of return for the buy and hold strategy. Carrying on, 49 to 1960. This one's going to be a little bit more favorable for the buy and hold camp. Starting with $444,600, the closing balance was $1.591.942 million, or a 258% change. On the buy and hold side, it did very well during this period, $52,000 to $178,000, a 239% total return. Annual rate of return on the rules-based side, 13.6%, buy and hold side 13%, not much of a difference. So like I said earlier, a rising market, the rules-based investing thing doesn't outperform, but in volatile markets, it very definitely does. Let's take the period 59 to 1970. A lot more volatility. And there's the result again. Starting with a 1.5 million opening balance from rules-based investing, 178,000 for buy and hold. 178,000 got to 209 for a 17% total return, almost 18%, which is an average of 1.65 annual rate of return. Rules-based investing, you finished up with 2.7 million, 72% total return, annual rate of return 5.61, so significantly better. 69 to 1980, totally a sideways market. Here rules-based investing dominates, and there are the results again. Annual rate of return for buy and hold is 0.47%. Annual rate of return for buy and rules-based investing is 5.66. Our original 1929 $100,000 is now worth 4.7 million with rule-based investing, and the buy and hold strategy 100,000 is worth 220. 1979 to 1990, here again buy and hold is going to do quite well. Rules-based investing will outperform, and here are the results. Rules-based investing, 15.1% annual rate of return. That $100,000 is now worth a little over 19 million. With buy and hold, very good result, 12.62% for this period, and the $100,000 is worth $720,000. Finally, not finally, but moving on to 1989 to 2000, again, excellent period for buy and hold investors. In fact, they slightly outperformed the rules-based investing over this period. But nevertheless, both of them made an excellent rate of return. The closing balance on the original $100,000 for rules-based investing is 79 million. It's 3 million for the buy and hold camp. Everybody made over 300% over the period, but the buy and hold slightly outperformed it over that period, but only slightly. And look at the difference over the bad periods. Now, 1999 to 2010. Again, lots of volatility. And no surprise, this was a period where buy and hold actually lost money, whereas, again, a positive rate of return of almost 5%, and that original $100,000 in 1929 is now worth $129 million versus $2.7 million for buy and hold. Finally, going to today. Another period when buy and hold has worked rather well. And of course, this is our recent memory. So buy and hold, 5.79. Rules-based investing, 5.7. Why bother? Well, the reason you bother is because over a super long period of time, from 1929 to 2016, which is not quite 100 years, but getting on for it, the $100,000 became $225 million, whereas the $100,000 became $4.8 million with buy and hold. The annual rate of return for the rules-based investor was 9.27%. The annual rate of return for buy and hold was 4.55%. But look at the difference. Now, this works also for gold. And the bottom line is that if you look at it, unfortunately, the buy and hold investing approach does not cater to using technical analysis technique we just demonstrated. The exercise that was demonstrated in this commentary is just one simple tool in technical analysis. There are other technical tools to use with this Cross's method as well. If this method of investing is ideal, if capital preservation is important to you, you can easily repeat this exercise. In fact, we suggest that you be skeptical and try it for yourself. This is to be discussed further in a later lesson, finding stocks to buy and or sell. and we'll show you how to use fundamental and technical analysis together to hone this approach. So now your question is your wealth professional that you're using practicing this, or is your wealth professional a buy and hold in the buy and hold camp? Is your wealth professional licensed to do what's required to take advantage of these tools? If the answer is no, then maybe you want to ask yourself why. We searched for wealth professionals who practice this strategy. If you click the locator button at the bottom of your web page, it will reveal one in your area. So click and enter your postal code on our website. This method is ideal if capital preservation is important to you. Also, as demonstrated, it's a simple but valuable tool. Now, why do you need an advisor? Well, you need an advisor because this requires discipline, and it does help if you pick the right stocks to apply it to. And that's where the technical and the fundamental analysis come together. We'll revisit this in session 15 under the session titled Rules-Based Investing. That's the end of the commentary for segment number 4.